clinched the 1 seed this week. And Steph Curry scored 28 points, and Draymond Green's game-stealing basket had the Warriors saying night-night to the Knicks, 97-94. Their 14th win the last 16 games. Malika Andrews and the NBA Countdown crew has more.
Well, gentlemen, you know when Draymond Green is hitting the night-night, we are in for something special. The Golden State Warriors, they've improved, Bob, to 14-1 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. Draymond said it. He said, we think this team is special, and when we're special, we win championships. What's the ceiling for this group?
I'm back into that answer, Malika. You could say, we're starting with a championship, is what he's saying. Can they beat Oklahoma City? Can they beat the Boston Celtics? I think they could beat Cleveland. And it's not a knock on Cleveland. I just think Cleveland hasn't been there in these moments. But so that would mean I don't think, as much as Draymond says, if you make me answer, championships, the final ceiling. But I do think getting to the Western Conference Finals possible. I think Oklahoma City has earned the respect and should earn my respect, certainly, of being tough to beat. They got a great defense, and they got probably what will be the MVP of the league on their team. Those two things get hard to overcome. So I view the Warriors, Malika, as a team in a group of, whether it's Denver, I would even put Minnesota in there, maybe the Lakers, of getting to the Western Conference Finals, but beating Oklahoma City is going to be a tough task.
Ceiling is the second round next. Throughout this stretch since they got Jimmy Butler, name me a top dog that they didn't beat out of either conference. They haven't beat the Celtics. They haven't beat the Cavs.
They do have one of the easier strengths of schedule. That is a good
OKC, Denver, the Lakers. So, no, and that's okay. I thought Doris Burke said it best. They're one piece away this offseason from being a legit title contender. When you look at the title contenders, the top three dogs, Celtics, OKC, the Cavs, they're deep, top to bottom. Like, they got a roster like all 12 guys could play at a high level and be in a playoff rotation. They don't have that with Golden State, and that's fine.
I think Perk is right when he says that, you know what, the likelihood is that it's a second-round exit. I just think he's taking the easy way out. That's all I'm saying. You have to look into consideration this part. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the creme de la creme. They're the number 1 seed. They were last year. They were this year. Dallas comes up out of nowhere, knocks them off. When you look at the Golden State Warriors with a Jimmy Butler and his experience, with a Steph Curry and his championship pedigree, and what they can do on a basketball court together, especially if Draymond is suddenly hitting open jump shots that they're giving to him. You're trying to tell me it's impossible to imagine that they can knock somebody out along the way? I don't think it is. So again, if I had to bet my money, certainly you go with Perk. And you say, yo, they going home in the second round. But if you're looking at Steph Curry, and it's a championship on the line, and oh, by the way, they're the underdog, and they're playing with house money because there are no expectations. And the expectations goes on somebody more talented, but younger and less experienced. Excuse me, that is the recipe for an upset. And I think Golden State has that ability.
What is the ceiling then? Ceiling. What's the ceiling?
Conference finals.
And that is the true definition of straddling the fence.
You call it whatever it is. Didn't we see upset last year?
What's that saying? Don't let me get one? Well, they did get one, and that's Jimmy Butler. And now all of a sudden they're 11 games over 500. The Golden State Warriors. Watch out.
You don't straddle the fence. You just end up
I'm going to change my answer.
I end up
I'm just
I think this is the end of the segment.
Going with Draymond.
It's the end.
Okay.
12-1 for Garden.
Oh, Steph?
Yeah, that's
Last night it was the Steph show.
that is damn impressive.
The fans, when I was sitting there, I was like, wow, there's a lot of Warrior fans at the Garden. But there's not a lot of Warriors fans at the Garden. There's a lot of Steph Curry fans at the Garden.
Reality check. The Knicks weren't really relevant until a couple of years
Be
ago.
that
They
as it
sucked
may.
most of the time.
Be that as it
I'm
may.
just saying. Everybody, in other words, everybody
Garden's
beat
still
them.
packed.
Everybody abused the Knicks at the Gardens until recently.
Yeah,
No.
but it's about
Okay.
being
He
in
was
the,
talking
in the
about it
theater.
since college,
You know how you know-
much he loved being
You know
there.
how you know that the Knicks have changed their fortunes? There's actually a picture of James Dolan, smile. He was standing with Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart took a picture for their podcast. I mean, you actually saw him there smile. He showed up in public. You understand what I'm saying? I know he's at the Knicks games all the time, but he's not very rarely reason to smile. He's smiling these days. I give him credit where credit is due. The Knicks are better. They're not better than Cleveland or Boston, but they spent the vast majority of their time stinking up the joint. Everybody abused the Knicks at the Garden. What did I complain about years ago?
Yeah,
I used to complain about they show up at the Garden to show out.
Some of those early
Still Steph's house.
Some of those early Steph teams weren't that good either.
So that's not not true. What are you talking
the
about?
first few years?
Excuse me. He came into the league in 2009. And why you got to bring that up? Because he was the 7th pick and the Knicks had the 8th pick. Don't even give me. See, why you got to bring that up, man? That ain't right. They ain't right, man. That's rubbing it in. This brother showed up second, third year in the league.
Anyway, it was still Steph's house last night.
I'm sorry, Molly. It was a good question. It's a good question.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know what? Y'all go ahead.
All right, can I get into this actual
Go
question?
ahead. I don't even want to talk right now. Go ahead.
Since the trade deadline, the NBA, we talked about how exciting it's been, what the Lakers look like with Luka now, and obviously the Warriors, what Jimmy Butler's added on defense and kind of re-energized them as well. So tell me this, which team should we fear more down the stretch? Is it the Warriors or the Lakers?
I don't feel great about this answer because I have seen Jimmy Butler rise up many times in the postseason. But my answer is the Lakers because of Luka. Because Luka is still got the ability, as we saw 1 year ago, to elevate a team. The definition to me of a superstar is that you can take a team that is lesser than in a playoff series and win. LeBron's got that all over his early resume. Luka's done it twice. By the time he was 26, he did it when he beat the Suns, when he was with the Mavericks, they got to the conference finals. And last year, they beat 2 teams in a row when they didn't have home court advantage. I got Luka, his ceiling, making the Lakers the more dangerous team.
First of all, Kwaku, this question is crazy. It's a little challenging. Can you say that you have to fear a team that's sitting in number 2? Like, I think when you look at the standings, the Warriors to me are a little more sneaky because it's so blatant with the Lakers. And so I think you got to watch out for the Warriors because if they now have the interior scoring and the defense powered by Jimmy Butler, and we know playoff Jimmy is a thing, so how do you capitalize on playoff Jimmy? You give him 25 games and then roll right into the playoffs, and so there's no time to be bored, right? I just think if they get, and to your point, Wendy, we talked about this earlier, they are also defending while we are marveling at the way the Lakers are defending. They are also putting it together, and I think the balance that they're developing around Jimmy Butler, the freedom for both Steph and Jimmy Butler, the ball movement we saw last night, I might be leaning Warriors on this one.
My answer is the Lakers because of their defense. Period. Having said that, because I know what Luka's going to give you, I know what LeBron's going to give you. What is their defense going to give you? That's the question. And I think that J.J. Redick and his staff have been answering that question. Can't say enough about the job that they're doing. Having said that, Wendy said something that I find very, very interesting, and I want to sort of like shift gears just a touch while Eminem's.
It's a little stiff. You gotta loosen up the shoulders.
You know.
It was a little
You brought up. Yeah, I was.
A little stiff.
I was leading.
I know you're lifting weights now, but you got to remember to stretch.
Right.
Mobility is important.
I feel like you're trapped. He couldn't even lift his arms up.
More like a core shake.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but I look good. Anyway.
All right, I want
here's
to
the
get to
deal.
what Shaq said, so can you be quick? Thanks.
Wendy said, when you talk about Luka, somebody that has taken a team and has ascended them.
Yeah.